we joked and we had a good giggle and we love a good chat GPT moment. But can I just honestly tell you, when you want a pulse, when you want someone who's got this, okay, that skin and a brain and a heart, that stuff you cannot get from AI. And you're never going to get 100% of what you want and what you need. And to really get back to like your normal through AI, you're just not going to do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another empowering episode of H.E.R, Hormones, Empowerment, and Restoration. Today, I am delighted to introduce a true advocate for self-care and women's wellness. She's the founder of Self-Care University, OK, Self-Care University, OK, where she passionately shares invaluable insights and programs aimed at empowering women through holistic approaches. Please join me in welcoming our guest today, Connie Street. Connie is a holistic women's wellness naturopathic practitioner and registered nurse. Her dedicated to listening, understanding, and offering personalized care sets her apart in the field. Let's dive into her journey and expertise in women's health. Thanks for joining us today, Connie.
Thank you all. And thank you very much for inviting me to this. I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. So, Connie, you've been a self-care coach for over 27 years and have accumulated 8 certifications in the healthcare field. How has your extensive experience shaped your approach to women's wellness, and what has been one of your most impactful lessons along the way?
Okay, so absolutely. I feel like what I have grabbed is like a shopping spree in life. I feel like if you could imagine the biggest buggy, like the ones that you're going to find at those big box stores, that over my lifetime, I'm 47 now, so you all do the math, how long I've been doing this. I feel like I only take what I want. And I only take what I feel like is necessary, almost like organic, not like processed, regurgitated information, stuff that you're like, oh, that's good. Okay, we're going to take that. Oh, that's really good. I'm going to take that. So, what I feel like I've done is through my lifetime, is I have actually been able to take that and process it in such a nice way that whenever it's packaged and presented, I have been received with, oh my goodness, I've never heard it explained that way. Because sometimes things can be too sciencey or too medically. But to be honest with you, I've been a nurse for less than 20 years. So to be honest with you, I've actually kind of had the the worldly words and then the medical words, and then can actually break those down so that whenever I'm communicating to women, they're like, it's like you just get me. It's like you just understand. But the one thing that sets me apart is I am not going to be your door to door and seek. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because to me, I appreciate it so much more when people hear me talk at an event or when they hear a podcast and they're like, oh my goodness, I've got to reach out to her. That's throwing a pebble in the ocean and finding me.
I love that. I love that. And I love how you said that you're taking different things, but you're making it personal and understandable, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times where I've been like, why don't they just say that in English? It would be so nice if things were said in English so that I can understand it, right? So I love that you're breaking things down for people where you're taking all of that knowledge and making it personal for them. I think that's amazing. And yeah, I think, you know, throwing a pebble in and the people that are meant to find you will find you, right? I mean, I believe that we all have our own little group that is supposed to be for us. And so I love that. And it's more effective, right? When you're coaching or meeting with somebody that you're going to help, you're supposed to be with that person. And so that's fantastic. I love it. You've mentioned the importance of personalized holistic approach to wellness. Can you share more about how you integrate your background as an RN and your expertise in naturopathy to support women in their self-care journey?
Oh, would I love to dive right into that. This is exactly how I tell my clients, I tell the world, if you're on social media, you know me whenever you hear me say that I think outside of the prescription bottle. I didn't go to school off life, and I didn't go to school, like RN school. Actually went to LPN school too, but I didn't actually learn things in where the medical sense made sense. In fact, I actually simplified things, and I do that in life with anything. Is I try to make it the most simple and then make it the easiest to explain. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So whenever I am communicating to women, because that's really like 95% of my clientele is women, me being a woman doesn't mean that I have to go through postmenopause to be able to coach you, but you do understand that the science behind it has never changed because your great grandma, yeah, I mean, if they when they lived long enough, yeah, they went through postmenopause. It's not brand new. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about what makes you unique. Are you adopted? Are you the only child? Like, did your mom pass away young? Let's talk about you and let's make it you focused. What are you going through? What are your symptoms? Because you know what? Sometimes what might have happened to you, the great seven times great, may be so different for you because life is just different. That stress, that cortisol level, the eating the protein before you go to bed idea, those were not concepts that were even thought about by the baby boomers. And this is what I tell my clients because it's understandable is that baby boomers actually are self-care deficit. They have a self-care deficit, which leads the Gen Xers to have to find material to go, what in the world's wrong with me? I'm not who I used to be. I'm not the nice lady that I used to be. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So when we break it down, we sift it and we make it personal to you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, I don't even remember my mom ever talking about menopause, right? I mean, it was not even something that you just didn't, there were things that were just like not talked about. I mean, and in all women's care, I mean, anything that happened, um, you couldn't, you just didn't talk about it. It wasn't something that was like, I mean, now you can pretty much find out information on anything. But back then it was like, unmentionable. You just didn't speak about it. So I love that. I love that you just, and I think things are changing a little bit because I think, our generation is so much more knowledgeable and I don't think we settle, right? I don't think we settle for this is just how it's supposed to be, because I'm like, no, I don't like this. So I don't want this to be how it is for myself. And so I think because we're more that way, it does help us like reach out and start researching and start figuring out what's going on with ourselves. And so I love that you're making and making everybody and understanding that everybody is bio individual and bio, sensitive to different things. And our history absolutely has a lot to do with that is just amazing. So,
Can I add something really quick?
yes.
Is that there is nothing brand new under the sun, and you are your normal. What you're going through, let's talk about it. It's not icky, sticky, or gross. You have a very mature, medical professional here, which is why I have that really long name to my title because I really want you to know, oh, we can talk. I will listen. I want to take that chair-side manner. It's not bedside manner, right? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
standing above
Mm-hmm.
you, talking to you. I'm actually listening to you, which your doctor doesn't have time to do. Not even your functional
Yeah.
medicine, your nurse practitioner. They have a they have this focus and they have this insurance company that they've got to fulfill and they've got to really go through their clients. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what is so unique and so such a blessing about having a coach is because I mean, 85% of the time we're listening to what you're saying. We might be writing it down in our minds or writing it down because we're going to come to you with this really great package for you to know it's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going through, okay, bring it, bring it.
Yeah.
Icky, sticky, gross, we got it.
Yep, 100%. And I tell my clients that all the time because they come and they're so frustrated, right? I mean, everybody's so frustrated because it's just like nobody's listening. Why doesn't anybody listen to me? And I'm like, in their defense, they can't. They don't have time. They're supposed to see so many people. They're supposed to hit this number. They're supposed to do that. And so much is missed. And there's so many things. like even with simple labs. And I want to get into labs with you soon, pretty quick, because I notice that you're totally into labs, which I love. But it is a very frustrating place to be, because then they come to us and they're like, well, I got this, and this. And I'm like, okay, let's break it down and let's try and find that root cause. Um, and then they just feel like, so it's like, I can't tell you how many times people will just sit there and go, thank you just for listening. I just feel so much better just for having somebody who actually just sat here and listened, and I'm like, because there's times where I'm like, we'll get back to you on what we're going to do, what our plan is going to do, because we spent 2 hours just listening and just talking. And I think that's such a huge part that is missed today in traditional medical care. And it's horrible. In your experience, how do women's perceptions of self-care evolve during different stages of, like, say, menopause? And how do they start to implement more natural solutions even before reaching perimenopause? So let's talk about menopause for a minute.
I feel like, let's just go into the postmenopause real quick. How many times did you hear you can use preparation H underneath your eye? Okay, so let's just, if that's the way that your mom did and she always used ivory soap to clean her face, well, let's just have a conversation about, like, the largest organ of your body, your integumentary system. Let's just be mindful that there are things aren't just as organic as they used to be. Does that make sense? Those ingredients did not, some of those have gone to the chemical waste side, if you will. So to be honest with you, I think natural is best, because the Lord gave it to us. I'm like, if the Lord gave it to us, let's use it. And I'm going to be very frank with you that I really think 70% of the prescriptions out there could actually be handled in a natural way, as there are some 30% that actually kind of need that chemical component to it so they can kickstart some things. So I hope that was super helpful, because to me, to dive into the postmenopause, I really think that a lot of people just said, well, that's the way my mom did it, and there you go. You get into the right now, those that are in perimenopause, like the 30 to 50-year-olds right now, they are more like, okay, what are the supplements? What do I need to do? I feel like their eyes are a little bit more opened, or because when they go to the doctor's office, they're like, oh, I got this prescription, and this prescription is going to take care of the symptoms of this one, and then that one, and then my estradiol, and then my, whoa. Like, what labs did you have? What were your results? Like, let's have a conversation. Also, I am not here to compete with your practitioner. I'm not. But I'm here to say, let me advocate for you. Like you mentioned in my introduction, I will all day long be an advocate, and I will stand in the line of fire for my client so that they can be a patient of the physicians, and they can go, look, can we try this? I know we're not going to be satisfying that insurance company, because we're not going to be hitting those 3 prescriptions for that one diagnosis. But I'm not here for that. That's not my license. My license is to advocate for my client. And I really feel that's where RNs, I really feel like that's where health coaches can come in and just, we're diving in.
Right.
And you've got your perimenopause ladies that are like, I don't mind actually asking this question. Whereas your postmenopause women can be a bit more like, my doctor put me on it, so it must be right. And I've been on it for 3 years, and I'm still bumping around with the same symptoms. You know what I'm talking about?
100%.
If you're still bumping around with the same symptoms, I'm going to jump in and advocate for you. Let's have a conversation. And I'm not judging your practitioner. I'm just coming. Let's put a few more recipes, out there to your doctor and see what we can try.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I think a lot of times too, is that some people don't realize that they need sometimes somebody else to be an advocate for them, right? When you go to the doctor and you're told, okay, you're going through menopause, the first thing or even perimenopause or whatever it is, the first thing that comes to your mind is all of the horror stories, right? And so it's like whenever you get any big diagnosis, it's all you think of is the horror stories that you've heard about that. So it's really hard to sit there and have like questions and be that advocate for yourself when your mind is spinning with whatever they just told you. So it's so important to have that person who is your partner, that is there, that can look at the test results and look at things and go, okay, I see what he's saying there, and I absolutely understand that. But what about if we did this? Or what about if we did that? There's alternatives. And it's not that, like you said, we're not in competition with a practitioner, but we can absolutely help or modify a couple things here and there. And I think that's just so important. And I think as more and more women understand that that is actually a option for them, and it doesn't make them a horrible person to have somebody else come back and go, you know what, let's look at this and look at that, and then be able to take those questions back to the doctor if they want, or try whatever they want on their own. It gives them such a sense of freedom, I think, and a sense of just relief of, oh, okay, I do have somebody that is 100% on my side and is working with me. And that's so important, I think, because it's so scary to go through all of the things that we have to go through as women, right? I mean, I was listening to a doctor the other day, and she was saying, not taken away from anybody else out there, but women, especially in the perimenopause, the menopause, and the postmenopause, are without a doubt the most stressed out individuals on the planet, right? We carry all of the things, and it's not taking away from that. But when you have somebody who can come alongside you and help advocate for you, I think is just fantastic. Absolutely, 100%. You said that many women feel like they're living in misery, thinking that they're broken, right? When in fact, it's just their hormones, and their hormones just need adjusting, right? So can you share an example how one of your clients found peace of mind and balance through natural wellness and solutions?
Yes, absolutely. So what is so weird is that there are some women don't even realize that there's toxins in your receipts, the
Mm-hmm.
receipts that you get from the grocery store, or you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, why can't we transition to like this kind of cup instead of a water bottle? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Where it really does take women to think about what they are doing in their daily lives that could be delivering some issues. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like there are things that they're doing they don't even know, and that's okay because remember, like I said, chemicals have changed over time. But I'm just saying that if we could just think a little bit more natural focused, go back to the basics, like a glass of water instead of a bottle of water. I mean, everybody's got it. This isn't it.
Yep.
You know those name brands.
Yeah.
Just bring a cup with you, drink your water, do those things. I even forgot your question because you know what, I get so excited talking about this, and I'll let you ask the question in just a second. But whenever women don't realize, and we don't point out, oh, now I remember the question, is where I was pointing out some things that could be harmful factors. And this mom, which real recently, she was like, I don't understand why my glass of wine is not helping me anymore before bed. And I wake up and I'm so stressed, and I drink my glass of water when I wake up. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's go ahead and let's break some of this down. What is not helping? You know what I mean? What's your
Mm-hmm.
cortisol levels look like? You wake up stressed out. How are you going to bed? Are you scrolling? Yes. How many
Mm-hmm.
women do you know that do the death scroll
Yep.
before bed, and they do not spend the 30 minutes to actually wind down? And I tell my clients this, okay? And this is like blanket statement. I want you to pretend like you are putting your baby to bed. Okay? Like I want you to pretend like you are putting yourself to bed like you would a baby. Close those blinds, turn on the whatever,
Right.
whales or birds or whatever it is. The phone has to be so far away from you that you have to stand up to wake, to turn it off in the morning. And let's get yourself to wind down. Okay. Do we need a journal? All right. So we're going to talk about our thoughts. We're going to journal. If you're a health coach and you're not asking your clients to journal, begin now. They might
Exactly.
help. Journaling is so important because they can actually see in the 30 days or 90 days or 60 days or 3 days that they've been working with you. They're like, today I ate green beans. Holy cow. I didn't even realize I loved green beans, but I did it. My coach told me to. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is their journey too. it's not about me. It actually makes my clients be the focus, and yay for them because they're the one doing the hard work.
Yep, 100%. I love that. And I love, people overlook the sleep routine so much. And I'm always just like, that's when our body heals. I mean, that old adage about sleep being the best medicine is true, and it's been around for years because it is true. So, yeah, I am always talking about that importance of sleep and how our body, that's when our body rests and relaxes and rejuvenates and heals and all of those things. And I love that you have them journal. I'm a big one on gratitude journaling, because yeah, oh my gosh, I am like, if you don't keep, and I'll challenge people, write those 10 things in the morning, look at that as your last thing before you go to bed. Because when you wake up at 3 a.m. and your mind is spiraling and you start down that, gloom, despair, and agony and stress, and you get going at, that 3 a.m. horrible time that everybody seems to wake up, then if you have that gratitude that you saw right before you went to sleep, and you can bring that forward, and you can start thinking, okay, no, this is what I'm grateful for, and I'm like, I don't even care if you're writing down, thank you for my bed. Say thank you for my bed, right? Thank you for whatever. But when you start being grateful, then you can't be anxious. And if you can't be anxious, then now you've got that rest and you can go back to sleep. Resetting that. I read a study, I think it was the University of San Diego who did a study on gratitude. And they were talking about how that actually resets our vagus nerve, and how there's this whole study on, that vagus nerve that sends that little SOS to our brain saying, oh yeah, no, everything is like messed up and we got to be stressed. When you focus on gratitude, they talk about how that it can actually reset your vagus nerve and send an all is well to our brains, instead of, oh my gosh, everything is bad. So I love that. I love that you do the journaling. I do that too. And people get so
So
sick of it.
I have a woman, we talk about libido and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I said, okay, let me tell you this. So, because we're talking about stress, I'm like, how many times have you seen a bobcat in the woods and you think, oh my gosh, I could totally make love right now? No, nobody's thinking intimacy. No one's thinking coddle. You're scared. Your cortisol levels are so high.
Yeah.
So, what makes you think that during stress in your daily life, because all those plates that are spinning, you're not thinking one thought about cuddle, you, self care. You think help, help, mayday, mayday, right? Which is thank God they got our number.
Miscarriage and infertility are deeply personal topics for many women. With your experience and knowledge of the MTHFR gene, can you explain how understanding genetics and impact women's fertility and overall health? Because that's such a huge thing right now too, I think.
Yes, if you've had one miscarriage, it's already time to have a conversation with your medical provider because what's going on? I don't know if you're adopted. I don't know if your mom's mom's mom, because MTHFR is genetic. It's on the X chromosome. So no matter if you're male or female, it's on the X. When you are experiencing a miscarriage, and I'm going to talk about one that's called natural miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're experiencing that, that is time to dive right into whose ever office will listen to you. In fact, I had 2 miscarriages, and an OBGYN told me that there were some things on a sonogram that were normal when they actually were not. So I'm not here to tell everybody my story, and I never tell everybody, my clients, my story, but I'm here to say advocate for yourself. Because I went to my primary care doctor and I told him what was happening, and he goes, I wonder if you have MTHFR. Funny story is that my OB, after the second miscarriage, she goes, oh, but hormone testing, or not hormone testing. She goes, oh, that testing is so expensive. It's thousands of dollars. Honey, I'm trying to have a baby. You don't already think it's going to cost thousands of dollars? I'm not even poor. Like, what are you talking about? So she already like chopped down that idea. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So really, when I went to my primary care doctor, sure enough, he did a panel of tests, and praise the Lord these days, that test is very simple to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was simple back then, but more people, I feel like everything I go through and the more I talk, I feel like it becomes more common, which is praise the Lord, right? Let's
Right.
go. Because let's make it more common to these providers, because some of it is not textbook. Some of it's like, oh, we can't go outside of medical practice. The insurance company is not going to cover. I don't care.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you have to pay out of pocket, which there are most of our hormone tests, and we have to pay out of pocket anyway, but it's one of those things where just do it, because that lab work is peace of mind.
Yeah.
If you have
100%.
MTHFR, your doctor will know how to care for you so that you don't keep miscarrying. And it's not, oh, I've had 8 miscarriages. Let's keep trying again. Let me try no gluten. And no, 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 no. Let's just talk about this so that you have something to go to your provider about. And if you have a provider that's not going to listen to you, find one that will.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And so speaking of lab work, because I'm totally 100% on, there's so many labs out there that can be done. And I feel like sometimes that with lab work. So for example, I have a client right now who is trying to figure out why she suddenly gained all this weight, right? And her doctor is like, well, it's probably your thyroid. So they do a thyroid test, right? And it comes back okay. But then she's bringing me the thyroid test, and it's not a complete test. It's not the T3, T4, the TPO, all of those things. So if we're going to say that it's not your thyroid, let's make sure it's not your thyroid, right? Because same thing with the MTHFR. If it's what's causing the problem, if it's not that, then let's rule it out. But let's rule it out first, and let's rule it out completely, right? Let's make sure that whole panel is covered and all of that stuff is covered. So I love that. So how do you recommend women advocate for their health when dealing with medical professionals, especially when they feel like they're not being fully heard? And they know that there's other lab works out there that can be done, and they just can't get there because, like my client, for example, was like, my doctor said I didn't need those other tests, that this one was good enough. So how do you overcome that? How do you talk to them about that?
Little do you all know that I used to write letters to insurance companies. Millions and millions, I think 7 millions of dollars worth to insurance companies to tell them why the doctor did this, and they should cover this test, this procedure, this surgery, this medicine. Does that make
Mm-hmm,
sense?
mm-hmm.
So to me, I really feel like not everybody needs to come to me for it. I mean, just this is how you advocate for yourself. You tell your provider, everybody's got Chat GPT, it's free. And
Right,
so I know y'all are out there doing it, because I know of not one person that's like, what? What's Chat GPT? I had no clue.
right, right.
I mean, even if you put in what other lab work comes along with, my thyroid, because I'm still having these symptoms, I promise you, you can say, how do I communicate this to my provider? Or you can also communicate with your coach, because your coach is going to have all of these different things. Well, okay, so let me just break down the thyroid one. What if that thyroid was WNL, within normal limits, but they were on this side of the WNL? Oh, okay, we still may have some things we need to talk about. We're not
Mm-hmm.
scared, but what's this? We're so close. That's the stuff that you want to bring to the insurance company. We were so close to, what is it? My brain is skipping. It doesn't go to like 4 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there you go. So we were so close. We were 3.75. Now that's the time you want to talk to your insurance company and say, hi, I'm still having these symptoms, which I told my doctor it's on that report. I'm going to need you to look into getting this test covered for me. If not, you have a health coach. Health coaches have access to labs, and they also have access to really good deals that are probably more better,
Yeah.
than your insurance company would even, it would kind of be in the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can do self-pay. Your
Yep.
health coach can help you find those. And you know what's so funny is we also get these results.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then you can go and you can have, is that your weight gain? Is that the reason for your, and then having a conversation about that.
Yep.
I hope that was helpful, because there's way
Yeah.
more I could say.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And that's what we ended up doing, right? I mean, I ordered the test for her. She took them, and it was really cheap for her to go in and do it. And then I got the results, and it's like, so now we're working that way, right? and you're 100% correct, because it wasn't her first panel came back, in normal range, but one of them was was just a little bit elevated. And so it's like, well, if it's elevated, let's find out why it's elevated, and it's just like they were going in a completely other direction. And I'm like, but we haven't done this yet. So let's finish this. Let's finish that. I love that you mentioned Chat GTP. Chat and I are like best friends. We are like BFFs. My kids are just like, Mom, it's weird, because I'm like, listen, me and Chat, and we talk, and we get it all figured out. And I love it. Chat cannot replace a healthcare provider. I mean, it's getting it, and it's amazing to me how many people are just like, it's like Google was back in the day. They just Google their symptoms, and then WebMD would tell them that they were dying or something, it was cancer or whatever. And then it was this fear would come on there. But so how can so you were talking about how that you can put these little questions into Chat and then take those questions to the healthcare provider. And I love that. But what do you think, how do you make it clear to them that they're just getting recommendations from Chat, that it's not actually going to take the place of getting qualified advice from a healthcare provider?
So whenever I said, oh, there's so much more I could say, oh, the 27 plus years that I have of experience, there is no way that Chat GPT, Google, AI, whatever Google source, even your grandma, there is nobody that is going to know you and to be able to take this culmination of what you've got going on and actually deliver something that is just like, oh my gosh, not even Chat GPT said that, because you are not medically, not you,
Right.
like the average watcher. You're not medically trained. Chat GPT cannot hold a license. It cannot.
You're right.
It cannot certify you. It cannot qualify you for anything. But your practitioner, they went to school of life. They went to school of life as well, because there are some things that you will learn, not your textbook patient, that whenever you get on Chat GPT, those are all the textbook patients that everybody was cured at the end of your care plan. Does that make sense?
Yep. 100%.
Whereas your healthcare coach, your ChatGPT is not going to tell you to go and do all these other little things, or it's not going to even talk to you about like, oh, here's another one. ChatGPT is not going to tell you this. Before you go and you have your thyroid checked, turn the radio off. Turn your cell phone off. Don't take the stairs to go and have your labs drawn. These are things that your medical provider is going to go, we're not manipulating the system, but we're trying to create a very organic lab result. But if you were stressed out and there was a car wreck on the way there and a bird flew in and it died because it hit your vehicle, and you know what I mean? And then you go in and you have your thyroid checked, that sucker's going to be wild, right?
Right.
So there's other lab tests where it can make those off too. But here we go. And then ChatGPT ain't going to know that.
Right.
And I'm not saying that in a smart aleck way, but what I'm saying is appreciate your medical provider for what they know, the world knowledge that they have, the case studies and all the different things. And there's so many things that ChatGPT, AI, even Google, like I said, the rabbit hole, oh my gosh, the rabbit hole you can go down, and you thought you were dying.
Right.
When actually we just need to fix your cortisol levels.
Right.
We just need to stop having the wine at night. We just need to Google. And what's so funny is people want a prescription for that thing when it's actually probably not necessary, because we could be over medicating because of that moment that they had and it missed it.
Yep.
Misdiagnosed.
Love it. You just can never take away the human component, right? And which is so important. So yeah.
It doesn't listen. It does not listen to you.
Yeah.
It'll always come back with something. Thank you and you're welcome. And thank you and you're welcome.
Right.
It doesn't listen.
Right. 100%. So let's talk about real quick some supplements. So like I said, I own a supplement store, right? So I am somewhat of a supplement snob. So apologies there to begin with. But you bring up a great point about how 70% of self-care can be achieved through natural supplementation and healthy mindset, right? So can you elaborate on some of your go-to natural supplements that every woman should consider for hormone balance and overall wellness?
Yes. And I don't even mind telling you, GLP-1s. I don't even mind telling you that because yes, they're natural. Y'all, you all think that GLP-1s were just 5 years ago when they were not. I've been actually doing this education, like I said, for 27 years. GLP-1s have been around. They're in your foods. They're in all kinds of things. So you just got to know, and then you've got to remember that satiety can come with potatoes. You've got to, I mean, I'm not talking like just
Right.
eat a ton of potatoes and be full, but you know what I mean? I love ashwagandha. I love green tea. I love rhodiola. I love shoot. I could name hold on just a second. This one right here. Oh, it's got cinnamon. Oh,
Yeah. Cinnamon.
cinnamon. What?
Hmm.
Like, there's like I literally used my memory one because
Uh,
cinnamon is really nice if you know anybody who's got Alzheimer's or blah blah blah. Anyway,
right, right.
there's so many that I'm like, but hang on a second. Don't start filling up your supplement pantry because there could be some that are a blend. There could be some where you just need this because it's not forever. A multivitamin, that's pretty forever, right? Because it's to supplement the things that you are not going, you can't stand fish. So you're going to take your omegas, but your omegas are good because if you're in perimenopause, you're rolling into postmenopause, and you know how important those omegas are to your heart and blah, 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 right? So, goodness gracious, girl, I call myself a supplements guru because when someone tells me a prescription, automatically, what could we have done? And let's just think about what a supplement could have been done because there are times when a prescription might be $1.99 because you got a good copay, whatever.
Hmm.
But you know what? What if that prescription was too high because it's compounded?
Yeah.
It's always in the system to be this. Whereas supplements, you could break those open. You can actually put some on some applesauce. I mean, it's really so interesting how supplements are so natural. Your body is designed to break them down anyway into your small intestine and send them out the back. Some of them actually are for your backside. So to me, it's kind of like, why is that not the first line of treatment?
Yeah. 100%.
We're not
And
here to feed the
yeah.
beast. So
Yeah. And I always tell people, it used to be back in the day that you were able, because, I get so many people who are like, oh, you can get everything you need from your food. Well, let me tell you what, my husband's a farmer. Okay. And yes, back in the day, you used to be able to get all of your nutrients from your food, but our soil isn't what it used to be. Right. So if our soil's not, and I grow a garden, right? We raise our own food. We raise our own meat. We have our own eggs. We have our gardens. We do all of the things, but we still have to supplement because we're not getting what we used to be able to get from the food. At the same time, I'm 100%, I believe everybody should be on a good multi. I love that you said you don't like fish. So you have a fish oil because girl, I do not do fish. No, no, no. Thank you very much. So
it
but yeah,
stinks.
yeah, exactly. And so there's certain things that I believe everybody should be on without a doubt. And then the other ones are supplements that depending on what's going on, I'm not going to be one that says to you, oh my gosh, you have to have this, 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 and this. Well, if you don't need it, you don't need it. So why would you spend your money on it? And same thing with prescription. If we can get you off of that and get you on something natural that maybe you won't have to be on forever, because maybe we can, start addressing some of those gut problems that is the reason why we're in this situation to begin with, and heal that and get you where you need to be. So I love that. So you mentioned GLP-1. So you're not shy about addressing some of the more controversial topics like GLP-1s and hormone treatments. So what are your thoughts on women who are approaching these solutions today, and how can they make more informed choices about their health and hormones, especially when it comes around GLP-1s?
Oh gosh. Well, let's be mindful of where our estrogens everywhere, right?
Mhm.
It can be in all kinds of sneaky places that you're like, what? And what's so interesting for women to learn is that some estrogen can be stored in your fat cells. Well, okay. So you're on a synthetic GLP-1. I used to be a synthetic GLP-1 recipient, and I also used to inject GLP-1s. You name it, I've done it, right?
Mhm.
So for GLP-1. So I've understood that if we are going to be removing some of that weight, okay, well, what are we doing with our mindset when it comes around food and how we're eating and how we are full? But are we eating our smart carbs first? Are we eating the rainbow? Are we eating like we should be? And the whole time I'm literally holding my hand up while we're doing this GLP-1. So a synthetic GLP-1 is exactly that. It is synthetic. Your body's not used to it. So you're going to bump around a little bit. You're going to need some protein. I mean, there's just literally a wide variety of food education because your food noise,
Mm-hmm.
it's slowed down. And so is your metabolism. So is your gut. Things are staying in your stomach longer. Things are staying in your large intestine longer. There's just so many things that people want to lose weight so bad, but they are forgetting the most important part is that you cannot be on that GLP-1 forever because you know why? The science is not behind it. There's no
Mm-hmm.
science behind what it could actually be doing to people. So, but where are you at in your eating? If you no longer have food noise, what is that doing to your your calorie deficient? There's a calorie deficit. You can actually have what's called calorie starvation. You know, everybody remembers that HCG diet
Mm-hmm.
where you only ate 500 calories and you did the
Yeah.
HCG thing,
Yeah.
right?
Horrible.
Where'd your
Mm-hmm.
liver go? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not here to bash anything. I'm just here to tell you where's the HCG diet at?
Right.
Yeah, that was, you know what I mean? So always be mindful to talk to your provider that if you are on a synthetic GLP-1, more than likely you're going to be on Miralax, you're going to be on like something's fiber supplement, um, um, magnesium citrate, you're going to be on something because you're going to need to move your bowels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what is so super important is remembering how important fiber is, how important protein is, your vitamins, your nutrients. When you're on a GLP-1, it's so addicting. It is. It's absolutely addicting. And I really don't want to say that, but it has become that way. People will pay money, throw thousands of dollars at you because they just are so desperate to lose weight. But I'm here to tell you there is a natural way to do it. But just be mindful that the synthetic, it should not be your forever baby. It should not be your forever, unless you have some medical condition where your doctor knows that your weight is always going to make you be 20, 30, 40 pounds and it's detrimental to your health. Okay, then that's completely, that's another
Mm-hmm.
story. But from what I'm hearing, and these are not vanity pounds, these are not vanity pounds, but then women are feeling nice, they're feeling good, they get off the medication and they forgot how to eat because they didn't ever follow a process that was healthy for them. So they were eating like they always did when they had their little handy helper shot. Next thing you know, because their estrogen, just left the building, right? Because your estrogen just goes
Mm-hmm.
bye bye. I mean, the other parts are there. But whenever you're starting to gain that weight back again, it's like, dang, why am I so mean again? I was so nice. Like, so you literally have this fluctuation of you can mess with your cortisol levels, you can mess with your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone because men, you have estrogen too
Mm-hmm.
in your fat cells. So men, you're not out of the woods yet on that either. So I hope that answered your question. I'm trying not to be super medically and I'm not trying to practice medicine, but I'm here to tell you, please be mindful of what you eat. When you're on a synthetic GLP-1, you can save yourself more money by letting it train you to know when you're full because let it be your helper, but not your lifetime.
So I was listening to I listen to podcasts all the time, right? So when I'm on my walk and stuff. And so I was listening to one, and this doctor was saying, remember back in the day when lap band surgery came out, right? Lap band surgery came out and it was going to be the end all, right? It was going to cure all of obesity forever and ever. Amen. And so he said, when you look at it and you see, okay, you have people who were on the lap band surgery and people who did really well, and then people who gained the weight back. right? And he said, so when you look at it, and the people who did well with the lap band surgery are the people who concentrated on nutrition, concentrated on water, concentrated on exercise, concentrated on sleep and stress and that whole foundation, right? Because weight loss is everything in our life. It's all of those things. And he said the ones that concentrated on that were the ones that did really well, and their weight loss was sustainable, right? It was long term. He said the ones that ended up gaining all their weight back were the ones who were like, this is going to be magic for me. I don't have to do anything different. This is it, right? This is all I need. I need this lap band surgery. And then they gain their weight back. And he said there's the same thing. And he's not 100% sold on the synthetic GLP-1s because there's not enough research, right, to back it yet. And so, but he said, when you look at the people who are successful, they're the ones who concentrate on protein and nutrition. They're the ones who do the exercise. They're the ones that watch or drink their water. They're the ones that sleep and do the stress. And so their foundations are solid because you have to have that protein. You have to have that muscle. You have to maintain that lean muscle, right, in order for that weight loss to be sustainable. And he said, so the argument is the same with the lap band. The people who use the lap band as a tool were successful long-term. And he said, I think the same is going to be true for the people who use the GLP-1s as a tool to get them where they need to be, but to make sure that their foundations are solid so that when they're off of the medication, then their weight loss is sustainable and long-term. And I think that's so true. It's like, we all want a magic pill. We all want something to be easy and just cure everything right away. And the beauty of the synthetics, I think, in some ways, and it's the same thing as any pharmaceutical is, it's quicker, right? It's a quick fix, but it's not a quick fix if you don't do the things that you need to do in order to sustain it. And I think I think it's so important to understand that you still have a responsibility, because when that medicine goes away and when that tool goes away and all of a sudden you're getting that food noise again, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to go straight for the protein or are you going to go straight for the cookies? Because you got to make that choice. So yeah, totally with you. Okay. So let's talk about you. So you've developed the Vibrant Women Method and a new certification program. Can you share a bit more about these programs, what these programs entail, and how they can help women take control of their wellness in a truly holistic way?
So much for giving me the opportunity to talk about those. I really appreciate that. So one thing that I found is that when you go to your doctor's office, you just literally are you rolled in, you rolled out, right? I'm not really one of those kind of gals. So I'm really one of those people where like I want to see the end of the story. I want to see how this pans out. So the Vibrant Woman Method is literally, it's like a program where you get me. It's almost like a concierge type program where your labs are already included, your supplements are already included, because you're like, do I go to Amazon or do I go to your supplement pharmacy? What do I do? Because to me, what I have found is when you can find everything in your box store, like 99% of what you need inside of a box store. You've got your education, you've got your one-on-one, you've got your, honey, I got a question, and you've got your supplements, and because what if it's supplement just, we needed to tweak it? We'll take that out, slide the other one. It's already a part of the cost, which I think is great. It's just a one-time fee, but you already know, you're like, I don't have to, everything's already inside the program. It's not like, oh my gosh, that's the price. It's like, that's the price because my labs are a part of that. What if I already had those labs drawn? Well, then let's slide that money into something else. Let's go ahead, ladies, because I'm all about a good budget. If you already used the money for something else, let's slide that in. So that is the Vibrant Woman Method. And it is my baby. And I have loved it. And women have loved it so much that inside there is also a 90-day program that you get. You're like, 90 days, holy cow. But really, if you can give yourself 15 minutes a day, like to have me time, it literally helps you focus on you. Okay.
That's awesome.
And that's what that 90 days is, because it takes 21 days to create a habit, but in 90 days, you're going to be a rock star because you're already going to have your labs and all that stuff going on. And you have a medical professional that's alongside with you. And I share your lab results with your provider if you want me to. You would have to provide those to your provider. So with the certification program, oh my gosh, can I just be super honest with you? TikTok is cute. And I'm not really a TikTok kind of girl. I'm more of like a YouTube. I want to stay and play. I want to hear what you have to say. I want you to open the suitcase, tell me what's inside the suitcase, and tell me all the things, right? And I want to know, like, why did you choose those things? Whereas TikTok can be more like, oh my gosh, get this thing right here, and it's going to give you a snatched jawline, and your cortisol levels are going to be doo doo doo. And you're thinking, you're talking about my cortisol levels on a TikTok? Like, you're not even like medically qualified to give me this information. So, what I appreciate is that whenever you do go through the holistic certification process, is I actually break down what is natural, what it means, what is like, let's talk about perimenopause. Let's talk about all the phases of menopause. Let's talk about hormones. Let's talk about all the things, stress, mood, whatever it is. We're going to break down different supplements and what they do and what they don't do, myths and facts. And then, what's so neat is that actually, when you do that commercial, you stop talking about someone's cortisol levels because you're going to get sued. Because just because you're certified doesn't mean you're medically trained. You know what I mean? But you
Hmm.
start to go, I have heard this woman say that when she went to her doctor's office, this lowered her cortisol levels. So talk to you know what I mean?
Right.
It just really presents you in a way that you are a subject matter expert in that moment, and they want to come to you. So that certification also comes with, you create your business plan. You already know how to scripts. You already know how to talk to your family, because your family is going to be the first one to want to find out what you're doing. And then you also know how to talk to people. Because what I think is so important is, with that knowledge, how many times when you were in your program, and maybe they do now, but I've not seen one, when you're in your like coaching program, when you get certified, where's the business plan? Where do they tell
Right.
you how to create a budget? How do you advertise? Who do you talk to? What are the 5 top people that you want to network with? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because that's what you end the program with. And so to me, I wrote this program. It's my certification program. I didn't buy it. You can't buy anybody else's certification program, but it's mine. You can finish it in a day. You just have 1 year, you have to complete it. I'm telling you, you can complete it in like a week. Who it's important for is if you are in nutrition, if you are with a MLM, and they have any kind of supplement, I don't care if it's a matcha tea, and you are going to be talking to a group of men or women, you will be like, hi, I'm so and so, and I'm a holistic certified. And you know what?
Hmm.
80% of people, 80% of consumers will buy from you if you have a certification or something that shows that you actually hold a space for where you learned that knowledge. That is the two big heavy hitters that I do. One is for my clients, and it's so wonderful. And the other one is where I get to actually be, I get to give back, what I wished I had. We always give what we wished we got.
Right. I love that. I think that's very
Thank you.
exciting. And I think that's very cool. So awesome. Awesome. Okay. So if there's one thing that you would want listeners to take away from this episode, what is it? And how do you envision your work impacting the way women approach self-care moving forward?
Okay, so I'm going to be so honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't know your audience, but there you go. A husband is probably listening somewhere out there. Okay, can you stay off the internet, and can you start actually picking up the heavy phone and making a call to someone who actually knows? We joked and we had a good giggle, and we love a good chat GPT moment. But can I just honestly tell you, when you want a pulse, when you want someone who's got this, okay, that skin and a brain and a heart, that stuff you cannot get from AI. And
Mhm.
you're never going to get 100% of what you want and what you need. And to really get back to like your normal through AI, you're just not going to do it. So for self-care, just remember that it is okay to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you start taking care of anyone else, because you are not going to win mom of the year by, outdoing your friends and things like that. Put things in place that are a priority. Like, you were talking about, Mindy, about a gratitude list. What in the world are you thankful for? Because when you can talk yourself down and really just focus on things that you're actually so good at, and really, self-care is about you. Self-care is okay to be selfish. Okay. It's not narcissistic. It's not meant to be this thing that's like, oh, you're just being selfish. No, you're literally sometimes swimming underwater and you need your coach's life raft because sometimes your doctor is busy.
Mhm.
They won't see you for another 30 days. Okay. ChatGPT, they don't have a pulse. Call your coach, because I guarantee you they're going to be like, I'm at the beach, but what's up?
Right.
Okay. I'm on vacation, but I know, what's up. Because to me, that is self care. It is so important and it's so crucial. And I hope that you all literally took that in and just said, I'm going to unpack this later. Right now, I don't need it, but I'm going to unpack this later.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for letting me talk.
I appreciate you so much, Connie, for being here today and sharing your incredible knowledge. And it's so fun. It was so fun and pleasure to work with you. Your passion for self care and women's wellness just shines through. And I know that our listeners will walk away with valuable insights that they can apply. So if you're interested in learning more about Connie, be sure to check out her website. I'm going to have you tell what the website is and your social media. And then we're also going to put them in the notes and all the notes. So tell us your socials, tell us your website, and all of your contact info.
So Self Care University, okay, okay is in like not okay as in okay, but okay. Self Care University, okay on Facebook, on TikTok. Nope, not on TikTok, on Facebook because on TikTok I'm actually called Journey to Menopause. So Journey to Menopause, all one word. And then Self Care University, okay.com is my website. And trust me when I say if you scroll down to the bottom where it says chat with us, it goes into a HIPAA approved little secret box that I want to know all the things. I want you to say what you want to say because you can't say that stuff on social media, on Facebook, in a little memo. But you know what? I really want people to feel comfortable to say what they want to say, even if it's like, I don't know what to ask, but can we just book a call? I just want to know, like, can I just talk to someone? Because sometimes you really don't know how to put together a sentence, but you know how to put together your thoughts. And it's hard to
Exactly.
just mesh those. So, and I already look forward to meeting all of you. And I know that you've met Mindy, so you're already in good hands there too.
All right. Well, thank you again, Connie, for joining us. And thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, remember, you are beautifully and wonderfully made.